Teens are often sassy and rude to their parents. Can you tell us a little bit about why this is the case and what parents might be able to do about it?
I find that when I talk to large parenting groups, rudeness is often the first one of the first item in a list that parents complain about. It really does seem to be intrinsic to the developmental period. Given what they're going through all day and given all of our expectations, we sometimes don't appreciate what they're going through. You know, they've got to get up in the morning way early than they want to be. They have to get through the routine, sit in classes all day, work hard, restrain their impulses to express disappointment or rage about this and that, or be as threatened as they are by all the things that go on in their peer groups. They come home, they're expected to do chores, homework, and so forth. They are really tired of all of that agenda that other people have for them. And of course, they're securely attached to their parents, and so they let their hair down with their parents. Just like when they got into the carpool when they were 3 or 5 or 8, it's still the same, only more intense, because with hormones, all emotions are more intense. With the brain remodeling, all impulse control is going to be more difficult. So even though they'd say basically it's important to be respectful of their parents, in reality, they're feeling so irritable about our agenda to have them go through their forced march of behavioral expectations that we have for them. So I feel like rudeness is what we call in biology overdetermined, meaning, first of all, just like all children, they're tired, they let their hair down with their parents. Second of all, they're individuating from their parents. So they're motivated to kind of, cut us down. I see parents as a big oak tree, and when they cut parents down, they get a little bit more sun for their fledgling little sapling growth because they brought parents down a few inches. Thirdly, we have all these things we want them to do, and so why wouldn't they feel irritable in response? Also, by displacing, sometimes like anytime somebody displaces on another, a dump, if you will, it's like, I'm going to have a tantrum, leave all that emotion on your doorstep, and then when I walk up, I feel a little lighter, and it's now on your doorstep. So I feel like there are many, many reasons why they're rude to us. All the way through childhood, but especially in adolescence. And of course, moodiness, reactive, feeling the sensation of all that's imposed on them, they're going to act out. So these are the things I recommend. First of all, and most psychologists, we really want to pick our battles. And since we really do want to insist on obedience regarding homework rules, or going to bed on time, or not hitting their brothers, or doing their chores, a lot of psychologists like myself would say, ignore what you can. All attention is reinforcing. So if we go on and on about their rudeness, they'll probably be more rude because we're giving them attention for it. Secondly, as long as it's not expletives or humiliating the siblings or name calling. Sometimes when we talk about rudeness, they're saying, "Oh, Mom, you don't know anything," or "You exaggerate everything," or "You're ruining my life." We might want to take a moment and say, do we really want to take that on? I'd rather have them do their homework and obey the electronics rules. So, I call this the riffraff of child rearing, that rudeness will come out. And truly, by the time they are 16 and a half and older, they have the ability to reflect and actually see their behavior in perspective. And they usually put a lot more curb on that, especially in public, but also privately. And so as long as it sort of heals itself, if you will, over time, I would rather not pick my battle on rudeness per se. Now, that said, ignore the riffraff you can. But, there are times where it gets up to a level that they're showing off among their friends and being extra rude. There are times where you might want to just say, okay, I want you to up your game for this occasion, or I notice that you're getting really kind of, unhinged when your friends are around. So there are times where you really want to pull them up by their short hairs and say, I have a greater expectation for you. But I think if you ignore a lot of the riffraff, it gives you more room to actually have higher expectations for certain times. And certain times when it gets over a certain boundary, parents can decide policies or, taking away, giving them a warning to, rein it in or else. And then the or else could be if they didn't, that there's a consequence. So those are the three kinds of things I recommend for rudeness. Mainly ignore if possible.